right, welcome to another Friday night episode of Keto Rocks. We are your threesome. I'm Jim Hobbs, and below me is Brian Damaged Forsythe of Kix. And then somewhere in the picture from Nashville, Tennessee, is the meat-eating doctor, Dr. Steve O. Man, what you wrangling up there in Nashville, Dr. Steve?
Oh, sorry. I'm still the new guy, Jim. You know, I've got a lot of podcast experience, but I'm trying to fit in. And I know I got my hat like you. And last week, Brian was like 25 minutes late because he was eating while he was on the screen. And so I thought that's what we do here. We talk about meat, we eat meat, and we walk away and do something else when Steve is talking.
No, Brian's taking that as a challenge. We got a steak off right here. So now Brian's breaking out all the 2-bone rib.
Well, it used to be 3-bone, but I ate one of them.
Okay.
Well,
did you eat it? Did you eat it rare? Did you eat it totally raw, Brian, or did you actually slice it off and smoke it a little bit?
No, I smoked it and seared it last night.
Dr. Steve, hey, listen, I'm so happy. This is a great moment for you. You ate a steak on the air, and I did not see a bottle of ketchup anywhere.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well,
it's the way it was meant to be, Jim. Just make your peace with it, buddy.
Listen, I accept what anybody wants to do in their own house, so I will accept it. You're in your own house. At least I think you're in your own house. I don't know if you've been kicked out and you're broadcasting from somebody else's house tonight.
I'd have better reception than our guest. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's right. We do have a guest. So why don't you please introduce our special guest for tonight?
We have a guy who's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and we don't hold against him that he's a fan of New York sports teams. And I know, Brian, that means a lot to you because you come from Maryland. Your Baltimore Orioles don't necessarily go head-to-head with the Mets, so you two don't have to fight in the parking lot because I know your Orioles are really important to you. But we've got a former almost police chief on Long Island, and one of the coolest guys I know, Pete Lynch, on the horn with us. Pete, thanks for taking time out of your day to come on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you, Pete. So, I mean, how much does he pay you monthly for you to be named as one of his best friends?
Well, as you can see, I'm technology challenged, and I keep blocking him on Twitter, but somehow he finds a way back into my life. So that's how we got to this point.
Now, Pete is, I asked him to be on the show because he's got a wedding coming up. And about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, he started keto because of this show.
Wow.
And me talking to Brian Forsythe. So wanted to check in with Pete and have him come on and talk about his keto journey.
So when you get married, Pete?
My son is getting married in the first week of June.
Oh, okay. Your son's getting married. Okay, gotcha,
Yes.
Gotcha. So yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. So Steve had posted, I think on Twitter, that he had lost 40 pounds. And it was funny because I had looked at a picture he'd put up and I said, geez, that must be some camera because it looks like Steve lost weight. And I've gone out to eat with Steve a couple of times and I said, geez, the way he eats, there's no way he's losing weight. And he had said he had lost 40 pounds, I think, in 3 months. And I was about to text him, hey, what are you doing? And then I saw this podcast come up, or the link, and I said, geez, I guess I'll watch that. And it was, I don't know if that's the first time he was on back in February.
Yeah, we apologize for that.
Yeah, thank you. And I wish I could just mute the camera. But anyway, I was stunned because, you know, he had said to me when we were out that, you know, he has trouble losing weight with the travel and everything else. And I had been struggling for the last, 2 or 3 years where I'd go just up and down and more up than down. And then when he explained to me what he was doing, I said, that sounds like something I can actually do because every other diet or fad or anything that I've tried was low fat, you know, eat your rice, eat lots of salad, just lean meat and very little of it. And I was either starving all the time or I was just still gaining weight. So when I did what I asked Steve, give me some instructions on what you're doing because I'm not a huge vegetable guy either and I can't eat avocado all the time. And he, so he gave me a couple of tips, and I tried it, and I think within the first 2 weeks, I dropped like 13 pounds.
Wow, great job. That's awesome.
So, yeah, so then I said, well, this is obviously working, and now I think it's week 6 or 7, and I'm down about 23 pounds.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
Without feeling like you're hungry all the time, right? I think that's what you.
Yes, I texted him. The best part of this whole thing, Steve, is every other time I've done any of these diets, you're starving all the time. You feel like you can't eat anything, and you're just miserable. I said, I don't wake up hungry. I don't do the how many hours until I can eat again. It's like a normal life, which was what I was looking for.
Yeah, going keto carnivore. Now, are you mostly carnivore? Are you mostly just eating meat, or are you doing a keto lifestyle, or are you just strictly carnivore?
I had started more on a keto, and as I was watching this, I said, I'm going to cut the carbs out even more. I mean, they're down to probably, 30 carbs a day. I'm really trying to keep it low, and I said, I might even go lower and just cut them out entirely. I'd cut everything else out, and at this point, I still do salad once in a while. I'll do a yogurt once in a while in the morning to break things up. But I had bought a couple of the keto cereals, and none of them are that special. I'd rather just do bacon and eggs or sausage and eggs in the morning than do anything like that.
Yeah, you are much better off just having eggs and bacon or eggs and sausage. Any type of meat and eggs is going to be way better than any marketed product that says keto cereal or keto bar, because that's literally most of them, and I won't say all of them, but most of them, they just put keto on there because they know that's going to sell. But the reality of it is it's not going to give you the results of the reason why you're purchasing that product.
Yeah, I've seen that where it'll tell you can have this as a change of pace, but then it's an eighth of a cup, and then it's going to be 22 grams of carbs anyway. And I said, it's not even worth it. Not
only that, but like you said, you got to read every label because it'll say 34 carbs, and then it'll have all this bunch of other stuff, dietary fiber minus 22, so net 3. But a serving size is 1 spoonful, and you're like, wait a minute, 1 spoonful? That's not going to do it for me. So you're much better just eating as much eggs and bacon and sausage that you want to eat until you feel fully stuffed, and then just relax, because that's it. You can eat as much as you want by doing it that way.
And it's amazing. Any other diet I've done, it was just egg whites, and it's, lean turkey instead of bacon, and it just seemed counterintuitive to eat the way that the carnivore diet is telling you to eat, but the results are amazing, so I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, Brian, I mean, you've been carnivore for what? How many? 2 years now? 3 years? How long has it been?
Yeah, it's been a little over 2, like strictly carnivore, but I mean, I've sort of been on and off for almost 3 now. But yeah, I was keto for
and Brian's
years before that.
And Brian doesn't need to lose weight. He just did it because of the energy and the health and how his energy that he felt and how good he felt.
I don't know, Jim. I think he's trying to get down to 110.
I eat a lot, though. You should see what I eat. And I'm like,
amazing.
I have no fat, and I stuff myself.
What is?
Yeah, Brian eats his weight every single day.
Well, I watched that episode where he said, I'm trying to stay at around whatever it was, 128.
Oh.
And I said, oh, geez, that was middle school. I can't even remember when I was 128.
That's a Romanian gymnast's weight. Yeah.
Well,
my head weighs 128.
I have a bowling ball myself.
What were you going to say, Brian?
I forget, but I'm actually a little heavier than 128 now, but I think I've been putting on some muscle.
Well, and muscle's heavier than fat too, so you'll put it on quicker.
Yeah, but I don't have to worry about it. I just eat until I'm stuffed, and I never count calories or portion control or any of that stuff, and it works. I don't.
Well, let's break some breaking news here today, because I want everybody to pay attention to this, because this is breaking news, or should I say breaking egg news. So Brian, did you finally? I saw that you broke open the emu egg.
Yeah, yesterday.
So do we have any footage of that?
Well, I haven't. I'm still in the editing process.
Okay.
So
Will we have footage by Friday?
yes, I could send you some footage.
Okay.
No.
Awesome.
Can it be up so that people can watch that right after they watch this?
And then it's this and that, and then they get a chance to see. So what did you make? What did you finally make with the emu egg?
I made this seafood, like Italian seafood quiche. So, I baked it and it had a crust and had scallops, shrimp and crab meat and salmon and a little bit of pizza sauce, the Primal Kitchen's pizza sauce.
So it's keto friendly. So how much, I mean, did you use? You only had one emu egg? Did Billy only send you one emu egg?
Yeah.
So was that enough to did one emu egg make that quiche?
I actually made 2 quiches out of it, but I added 2 duck eggs along with it.
Okay.
They're small little pie tins, but with all that stuff in there, it was plenty. It was really good though. That yolk was that big. It was huge.
Wow. So that is the emu duck quiche.
Yeah.
So 1 emu egg, 2 duck eggs, and then a ton of seafood, and you got yourself a great meal.
Oh yeah.
And eat your heart out, Billy.
Yeah, Billy, you're sitting on a gold mine there. I'm still waiting. Well, the bad news is the fact that he finally broke the egg means that egg's not going to hatch. So we're not going to have an emu at Brian's house. So Billy, we need another egg. So either Dr. Steve or Brian can sit on, and we can actually get an emu hatched. Or Pete, listen.
There might not be enough of Brian to cover an entire emu egg.
You guys might have to share parenting then, or share.
Ooh, one cheek each.
Wasn't there a Modern Family episode like that?
There's going to be a modern Keto Rocks episode like that.
Brian has only marginally heard of the show Modern Family, Pete. You'll have to forgive him.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, so Pete, so what's your energy level been like since you've started down this path of keto carnivore?
Well, it's amazing because when I started it, I told Steve I needed to do something because I would sit there and at 3 in the afternoon, I'd be falling asleep. I'd be ready for a nap and I would be fighting to stay awake. And when I was working, I was always a night owl. I could go till 3, 4 in the morning before I ever got tired. And I was literally falling asleep at like 3, 4 in the afternoon, fighting to stay awake till 10 o'clock at night, which I was never like that. And then once I started doing this, the first couple of days, it was different. My body definitely felt different. And then after that, I realized I was still walking. I try to go for at least an hour-long walk every day, like a hike through the woods. And I'd come back and I'd feel better than before I left. And now I'm at the point where I'm waking up an hour and a half earlier than I was before I started this. And I can stay up again until after midnight without a problem. I'll watch the West Coast hockey games before I go to bed. And I feel like I did probably 15 years ago now.
Wow. And that's in a very short period of time. Now, let me ask you a personal question. You can answer this or not. Do you typically do an annual physical with your doctor?
I do. And it's funny. I just went to the doctor yesterday it was just a follow-up for my prescriptions and everything. And he was amazed. He said, you've been trying to lose weight for a while and then you just show up and you dropped all this weight. And when I said to him, listen, I told him what I was doing. And I said, I hear that doctors normally aren't thrilled with this because of the other numbers that go up and down. And he said, hey, you can't argue with the results, do it for as long as you can. And then when you get to a point where you're happy, we'll check your numbers again and see what's going on. But I don't think I was doing it long enough for it to really affect any of the numbers on my physical.
But your weight loss definitely was noticed by your doctors.
Yeah, he noticed it first thing when I walked in. He was like, so surprised because every time I'd walk in, I'd be annoyed that, you know, he'd say, oh, I'm going to give you a new diet. And I kept telling him, I've tried all of these. I mean, I guess it's hitting that certain age. My boss would always laugh, and he would always say, once you hit 50, it's all over. You can't burn a calorie no matter what. And it really felt that way. You know, when I hit 40, everything seemed to have slowed down. When I hit 50, all the things that I used to try to do, I couldn't do anymore. I would do them, but they just wouldn't work. I mean, I was eating like my whole life was a diet. I would still go to the gym and do the same things. I would still walk every day. I had a fusion in my neck, so I can't run. I can't take the pounding anymore, but I never liked to run anyway. But it just seemed whatever I did, nothing was burning it off. And this was like a miracle.
Well, when you said you work out, so have you noticed a difference in your recovery times from working out, and have you gained strength and going through your workouts?
Yes, and I don't know if if I'm putting the cart before the horse with all of that, but I had been going to the gym and I guess going through the motions, and then as I was starting the diet, I said I'm going to start focusing on my workouts, and I noticed last year with the shutdown, I couldn't get to my doctor. I get shots for my back for when I got hurt at work. I hurt my neck, and I have to get these Botox shots. Otherwise, it's just constant pain. So I get them every 3 months, and I hadn't gotten them in 9 or 10 months. So I was miserable all through the summer and the spring and summer. And I guess I was modifying my workouts, not realizing it. I was lowering the numbers of everything I did. I was lowering the weights and then the reps. So I thought I was still going to the gym, but I probably wasn't pushing as hard. And then I guess I couldn't push as hard anymore. And now with the new diet and everything, I can recover quicker. I can do more weight than I had been doing in probably the last 2-3 years, where I'm getting back to weights that I was probably doing 10 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, you said something there, and I hope everybody caught that we were told that once we hit 50, there's just no way you're going to lose weight. It's just you're going to start getting the old person's spread. When the reality of it is, I mean, we have the ability, no matter what age, to live a keto carnivore lifestyle and lose that weight. And Brian's a perfect model for that. So are you, Dr. Steve. Your poster speaks volumes of what this lifestyle does for you. We got a lot of feedback from last week's episode.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but yeah, I'm looking pretty good.
The dog at the beach definitely thought so. So you have the canines on your side.
I don't even feel weird about that, Jim. Like, I'm not judgmental. Just if I'm an attractive person, I know I attract all kinds of species.
There are so many jokes, but we're just going to let them go. I'm new to the show.
Hey, let me give you a little insight into Pete Lynch. So we've gone to dinner the last several times I've been on Long Island doing my gigs. And the first time we ever got together, we've gone to the same sports bar every time. Actually, I have 2 points to make. I'll make the second one when I finish this anecdote. But we were sitting down, and Pete, I remember I told my wife about this when we got home because I was like, okay. But I was trying to decide between 2 appetizers. I don't even know if you remember this moment in time, Pete, but it was like, I don't even remember what they were. It was like mozzarella sticks versus ravioli or something. And I was going back and forth, and the waitress was standing there, and Pete grabbed her sleeve and said, just bring both. And I thought, there's a guy I can really embrace. And then he stuck me with the bill. So I don't know what that was all about. That was thing one. But I also didn't want, you said, Jim, you said something, Pete, I didn't want to let go. And I also have a point that I don't want to let go either, which is Pete is not like a dainty dude. Like he's not a diva. He doesn't carry a merce. Not like he's a man's man. He plays hockey, used to. He was a cop. He lifts weights. And yet this keto thing works and the carnivore thing works. Like it doesn't matter what your body style is or what kind of life you lead, what disposition you have. This can work for everybody. And so if you're a manly man or a girly girl and everything in between, this is something that can really have some traction in your life.
Well, I think last week's episode, people see the results of Brittany Violet that we had on, and she's 26 and has 3 children already.
And she was pregnant during one of the Well, she was on keto during one of them, right? Or the carnivore.
Yes. Yep. And
I thought that was amazing.
yeah, I mean, she's truly amazing and a true testament to what this lifestyle does for you. And so we just literally got to go live out this lifestyle, and the results, as your doctor says, will speak for themselves. And there's a lot of other stuff you can start to bring into your lifestyle. Intermittent fasting is one of them, and I just want to do a shout out to our Keto Rocks group, who we did a 72-hour fast this past last week. We started Wednesday and we ended it Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So Maria Hernandez and Linda Hazer and Corey Sanfiegos and Joan Chapman and Emily, we all, some people did a 1-day fast and some people did, I think Emily did a 2 days. I know Maria, Linda, and Joan and I did a 72-hour fast, but it was really nice to have that type of support. We were all communicating through this whole 72-hour day, make sure, everybody was staying upbeat. But I tell you, one of the things I noticed is I was weighing, my weight did not drop for the first 2 days. I weighed myself and I was 201, and then the third day it dropped to 199. And that's really when I started to feel really, really good. And it wasn't until like the 70th hour that all of a sudden my stomach started going, we want food. We want food. And I could hear that chant over and over again. And I think that was probably some of the longest 2 hours I've ever had to go through to get to that mark. But I think I wasn't the only one in the bunch that was having those 2 hours that lasted forever. But anyway, it was a great bunch. We're going to do it again in June. So if you guys are friends of the show and want to participate in that, you just go to our Facebook page, Keto Rocks and Carnivore Country. Just subscribe to our page, and then we'll make an announcement of when we're going to do another 3-day fast. And we'd love to have you participate with us. Then we'll create a separate messenger page where we can communicate all 3 days together. And if you're having problems, let us know. We're right there for you. But it was a great 72-hour fast with some great folks. And so I'm looking forward to doing it again in June. But congratulations to the bunch that did it this time. It was an awesome time. And so just wanted to sit there and give a shout out to our family.
Jim, I have literally fasted since the beginning of this show, and I have not heard any reinforcing comments from you.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought you started the show eating ketchup.
Oh,
and I haven't since.
Well, great job. Keep it up. I'll message you at midnight tonight. Say, keep going. You can do it. You can do it.
It's almost like he's growing up right before our eyes.
He is. Next thing you know, he'll get off the pony for a quarter ride and be able to ride a real pony.
Hey, I'm on the rocket ship next.
There you go.
If you start feeling faint, just hit your mute button before you fall over.
Okay. We went through the whole Zoom tutorial before we recorded today.
Hey, but listen, it just shows you even a New York Islander fan can figure it out. So my hats off to you and to your team for defeating my Capitals last night. So, I'm a great sports fan, and I just recognize good hockey. You got a great coach.
It was a nail biter. It felt like a playoff game.
Yeah, it was. You have a great coach. I love our old coach that we gave you. But it was a good game last night. I'm looking forward to see how far our teams can go in the playoffs.
It's going to be fun.
It definitely will be.
Now, does Brian do one of those things where he only eats during certain hours?
Brian, I'll let Brian answer that.
You're talking about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Yeah. I just eat one big meal in the middle of the day. And I eat, I eat a ton of food, so I don't even get hungry for the next 18 to 22 hours. So.
Wow.
But 8 of those I'm sleeping, so it's not really hard.
And he plays guitar for the other 8 hours, so he can't pick anything up because he's practicing guitar. So that's 16 hours, and then once he gets done practicing, he's got the shower, workout. Then he has a 3-bone prime rib.
The Fred Flintstone meal.
Yes, the Brontosaurus burger. The old Brontosaurus burger. Hey, I wanted to say something to Brian. So thank you, Brian. That iodine is amazing. You know, I have such a level energy throughout the whole day since I've been doing the 10 drops in the morning. And so Pete, and this is for anybody, but man, that J. Crow's iodine solution. What's it? And there's another one. What's the tablets? What's the tablets, Brian?
I have the bottle. I'll show you.
Brian is a very antsy person. Have you noticed that, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Now, how many tablets are in that bottle?
This is just a small bottle, but they're 50 milligrams. So I take one of these 50 milligrams, plus I do probably 4 to 6 drops besides that in my electrolytes.
I do 10 drops in the morning. That's it. But do you do your drops just in the morning, or do you spread it out?
Yeah, I take this in the morning, and then the first initial, like say 4 extra drops will be in the morning, and then somewhere in the afternoon I'll do another like 2 to 4 drops. But yeah.
Now, are you still having positive? Are you still feeling better since you've been on the iodine?
Yeah. When I first started though, it was like night and day. I could feel it. Like now, I think I've sort of gotten used to it, so I don't notice it as much. But I don't feel sluggish or anything. So
that's what I've noticed. Like it's just like Brian said, it's night and day. I mean, taking those now, the only thing I noticed was the first night I took the 2 drops in my mouth without putting in my coffee or my mud. That I noticed, and that I'm not never doing again. And I don't recommend anyone taking it right from the bottle. But when you mix it in with your coffee, since that Sunday, man, my energy level is like
Brian's
through the roof.
Again. Hold on a minute, Jim. He'll be back in a minute.
He's got to take another shot.
I was going to show you the drops too.
That's it. That's the one I have. That's it.
New Galls. Yeah.
Just so people know what I'm talking about, Brian, go ahead and put 2 drops on your tongue right now and let people know what they taste like. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's WD-40 and fish oil. That's what it's a mixture of that. And trust me, you will wake up after you put that in your mouth.
It is sucking the oil right out of the fish too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like nature. Just like it was intended.
10 million grizzly bears can't be wrong.
So Pete, when's this wedding for your son? You said June?
June 5th.
Wow.
And that was one of the inspirations. I said, I can't look like the Michelin Man in all the wedding pictures. It's time to do something.
Now, do you earn money when someone mentions Michelin Man, Dr. Steve?
I just find it to be rather coincidental that both Pete and myself look just like the Michelin Man. And there is photographic proof from last week that my end is so.
I just want to know if you still get royalties when someone mentions it or talks about it, refers back to it.
No, unfortunately, as you could tell from the pictures following the Michelin Man picture, I don't quite fit the mold anymore.
Well, it was quite impressive, the transformation that took place for you, for sure.
I mean, what can I say, Jim? I have good genes.
Outside of your jock, I'm your biggest supporter. Let me just tell you.
I don't know what to do with that, but
well, at 12 o'clock, you're gonna get a text message from me saying, "Go boy, go! You're doing good. Keep up the great work."
I look forward to that. In fact, Jim, when you said to Pete, "Can I ask you a personal question?" I thought you were going to ask something else because it became the primary focus of almost the entire show last week, and that is, as everyone's looking at me like I don't talk about things that anyone understands. Pete, how are you pooping?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I was always like a dog where right after I ate, I would run for the bathroom anyway. But now it's totally different.
Are you once a week?
Oh, no. Like I said, I've always been known to be like a dog. My wife would laugh. She's like, you didn't even finish eating and you're running for the bathroom. So
I know people like that.
At work, when I was at work, we would wear a gun belt, and then you would have what we call belt keepers. And these little snaps that hold your gun belt to your regular belt. Huh. And you have to take the belt keepers off to take the gun belt off to take your pants down. So I would be eating and taking the belt keepers off at the same time. So I've never really had a problem. And I was wondering, I said, I don't think it can really be that much different, but it is. I mean, the mail moves through quickly now.
It's like a fetid rain. Yes.
Wow. But you're feeling better. The weight's coming off. June 5th looks like you're going to hit your goal that you have set in your head for yourself.
I think I will. I was hoping. I was up to 234, and I was 211 this morning.
Wow.
What is your goal, Pete?
I'd like to get to 200.
Oh, you should easily do that, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
What was your fighting weight when you were a cop, Pete? What are you?
190.
Okay.
190.
Now, if you're going to take your tux in and get it all fitted for you before June 5th?
I went last week for a fitting, and I told the man I would be back because the pants will be smaller. And he said, I'm putting you in a pair that you can take in. So, just come a couple of weeks before, and that should be the size you'll wear.
Yeah.
And as you know from this show, keto makes your clothes fall off. It should be a fun wedding.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to losing the weight, too. Not just to look at it in the pictures, just you feel so much better when you're not carrying around all that extra weight.
Well, we'll have to ask you to take a picture of the wedding ceremony, the day in your tux, and post it on our page so people can sit there and see the transformation and the final product on June 5th.
I will.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for doing
Jim,
that.
I don't know that Pete's all that photogenic, man. Be
I was
careful
just going to say, we'll cut out the bride and groom. I'm pretty much the star of the show anyway, right?
You are a friend of Dr. Steve.
There's a certain personality type I get along with the best.
Yep.
We did hit it off right away.
So
now,
Brian,
in fairness, I did have a
ahead.
3-hour dinner with Brian Forsythe over the weekend, too. So I get along even with the quiet type.
3 hours. So, Brian, you just sit there and watch Steve pig out?
Kinda.
Well, my wife was there, too.
Oh, so so her and Brian watched you pig out.
Yeah, she sat next to me, so we were shoulder to shoulder, so she could focus on Brian, who, I don't know if you've ever seen Brian Forsythe in public, Jim, but he is committed to the rock star lifestyle as well as the carnivore lifestyle. He walked in and every head turned, and I'm not just saying that.
Brian, you're laughing. Is that the way it went down? You had to sign autographs as you went through being seated to their table?
No, but I don't know. I don't notice those things.
Oh, so when my son was in kindergarten, one of his classmates was the son of a hockey player, Nashville Predator, Jason Arnott, who played kind of near you guys with the Devils for a long time. Not Jason, Jason Arnott. So Arnott, yeah. So we didn't know that, and at orientation, he comes walking in with his model-looking wife. And I was looking at him thinking, you've got to be somebody. Like, are you a country star? Like, he had the look that sort of makes people think he's somebody. So Brian walks in the other day, and he walked in, and if you didn't know he was anybody, you would have known he's somebody because he owns the place when he strolls in. He is a fashion plate that screams, I am a rock star.
Got his back cutting pythons on, walking through the crowd.
Yeah, baby. Like he's got the chains and the rings and the hair and the shirt that's unsnapped halfway down to his navel and the jeans that are fit for a 112-pound man, if you know what I'm saying. And the boots that I think are ostrich skin or possibly python, whatever he killed with his own hands when he was on that last hunting trip down to Louisiana. Like that was damage. He was not Brian Forsythe on Sunday, Jim, whatever day it was, Saturday, Jim. He was damage Forsythe.
and Dr. Steve's going right behind you, Brian, handing out cards saying the book will be out by 2022. Here,
well, that caught a few looks too because he sat down at a table with Beauty and the Beast.
Why are you calling my wife a beast, Pete? That's not cool.
She knows the truth.
I think we all know who he's calling the beast here.
I think we do, Jim, and I'm glad she doesn't listen. But anyway.
So you had a chance to have a 3-hour meal with Brian, and you got a chance to sell a few books. In the meantime,
I got a chance to hand out my card. That was nice.
That's awesome. So did you have ketchup with your meal?
Yeah.
I did I?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I enjoyed it.
Brian, were you still able to eat after watching that display of lack of judgment?
Yeah, I was busy taking photos.
Yeah, what a diva. He actually did, Jim. He had to like position his food correctly. He borrowed food from somebody else so he could fill out the picture and make it look, I don't know, the contrast correct or whatever it was. It took a long time, and I was finished by the time he was snapping the first photo.
Did they have at this restaurant that you guys had dinner at, did they have the Brian's plate? They just have it waiting there for him. Oh, he's here. Bring out Brian Forsythe's plate so he can.
No, but you could just feel a ripple go through the crowd when Brian walked in. And I'm sure the chefs kind of perked up because people were whispering, I think it's him. I think it's him. It is him. And then he sat down and the waitress swept over. And that was almost literally the last time we saw her, but I'll leave that aside for the time being.
Wow, there's a story there. Let's hear it, Brian. What happened there?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, I just think I overwhelmed her with my order. It was more like a lack of things than a bunch of things, really. I was just saying, no, I don't want that. I just want this. You know, just meat.
27 minutes to finish his order. 27 minutes.
Meat and eggs.
I timed it. I took a nap
and bacon
before he finished. Remember, we've talked about When Harry Met Sally on this show for reasons that are unrelated to what I'm about to say, except for it happened in the same scene. Do you remember one of her things, Jim, was how long it took her to order?
Right.
Brian, man, he starts, and I don't know why he goes first. Like the rest of us have to go hungry while he's in the middle of this thing. But the waitress, not necessarily a Harvard graduate, if you know what I'm saying. And Brian tried to politely slow down and go over things several times. She did screw up the order, I think. But man, he is the most particular human being on the planet. Pete Lynch is more about, yeah, bring them both. Brian is more of a, we need an abacus and a compass, and we need like a NASA computer to get all this down and in. It's the tale of two orders.
Typically, Brian just takes the menu and goes, okay, do you have fish, chicken, and beef? Yes, bring those. And a side of bacon.
Yeah, it was only 3 things. It was steak, egg, bacon. And that was it.
And they asked you, do you want your sides? And you say, no, I just want bacon, steak, and egg.
Yeah.
Well, she showed Brian. Brian, let everyone in on how many pieces of bacon she brought you.
Well, it looked like 2, but I think it was 1 cut in half.
After all that, she brought a piece of bacon that big.
There's no way this guy can eat all his food that he ordered. So he ordered 2 strips of bacon. So cut that in. Hey, Joe, cut that bacon strip in half and put it down. He's not going to finish it anyway. And then she's probably like, oh my gosh, he's going through this food like a madman.
No, he's photographing this food like a madman.
Ah, I stand corrected.
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing left on the plate afterwards, correct?
Oh, correct. Nothing.
That stands to reason. I don't remember specifically.
Gotcha. Well, talking about Brian having this rock star appeal as he sachets through the restaurant with Dr. Steve-O, what's going on the concert front, Brian? When's I know you guys got the drive-in show coming up, but you guys got any added shows that are beginning to be added since things seem to be loosening up?
I don't know if I mentioned it last week. There was one added the night after, but I don't know if it's announced yet or not. It should be. But so we're doing that weekend. We're doing 2 shows, and then after that, I don't think we have anything till June. Then June, it's on.
Now
after that.
the second show after the theater, is that going to be in Maryland or Virginia, or is it Pennsylvania, or is it somewhere?
Oh, right outside of Baltimore.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's
And
somewhere.
then come June, you're not playing you're not playing the guy's house again, are you? The garage of the guy's house?
No, it is that guy though. He's the one that's doing the show, but it's at an actual venue this time.
That was a pretty good guess, Jim.
Well, it was quite the show last time. So, but anyway, that's awesome that things are beginning to loosen up. So Sullivan Big thinks things are going to be opening up now and things will be turned back to normal.
Yeah, still slowly though, and still like June is filled up, but I'm still wondering if a couple of those might end up getting moved again, but hopefully not.
Yeah, I think things are beginning to loosen up, so that's a good start.
Yeah, with this whole vaccine thing going on, I think by July anyway,
Hey, Dr. Steve, I got a question for you. So talking about the vaccines and stuff, so the basketball team, the team that you cover, do they have protocols they follow in meeting and doing the games, or is it just not really monitored that much?
I don't actually know the answer to that question, Jim, as far as our team goes, but I do know before we go to, I almost said foreign venues, whenever we go to an away game, there is always a 4 yes/no questionnaire that the guys have to answer. And it's not enforceable, but it's like the old days at the airport where they would say, have you touched anyone else's bags? Has anyone else given you something to hold? And you just say, no. So this is like, have you been in contact with anyone? Have you had a fever? Do you have symptoms? So most of the guys just check no, and then life goes on. But there is at least lip service paid to it.
Gotcha. How is the team doing?
They're doing really well. We were in South Carolina last weekend and won. And I think I mentioned a few weeks ago, we're in the overlap where the spring season is ending and the summer is beginning. So we start the playoffs for the spring season this weekend. So we have a playoff game in Louisville for the spring season and then a league game in Memphis on Sunday. So Saturday in Louisville, Sunday in Memphis. So I'll be on the road doing my thing.
Gotcha. That's awesome that they're doing well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's always a lot more fun with your team's winning. So it makes the whole atmosphere fun. Yeah, that's awesome.
Hasn't been a lot of fun for Islanders fans the last few years, but maybe with a coach, they'll do something.
No, they have a great team. They have a great team this year. And so it'll be interesting to see. So Pete, since the fact that you were a cop and Steve visited you lots, how in the hell did you not arrest him?
Luckily, I was retired by the time I met him. I would have definitely made some overtime out of him.
Well, maybe one of your friends down at the department can give him a present when he shows up for your son's wedding.
Well, the bride and groom are both cops now, so if I can lure him anywhere near my house, we can definitely cuff him up now.
Legally too. Legally. That'll be another poster to come out.
That will be a picture I definitely send to your podcast.
We would welcome that. So Brian, what else? Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
I'll be screaming, I'm not going back. They're not taking me alive.
and he's going to lock you up and say, yeah, this is your 72-hour fast. You're going to sit there and sleep those ones off for 72 hours and close the door on you.
And my wife will dance in the street. Yes.
The for sale sign will be in the lawn.
Florida, here I come.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So Dr. Steve, what are you eating for real this morning? Did you have a steak? Did you have a steak earlier?
No, I've got one piece left, actually. I was munching on it while we were waiting. But no, this is, hey, we always talk about deals and meat deals of the week and stuff. And I know you've got an announcement coming up about that. But I don't think anybody could beat the Dr. Steve deal that I got today because of good timing and a distracted employee. And I didn't even mean for this to happen, but I wanted to pull the sight gag at the beginning of the show. So I stopped at the store on the way home to get just a cheap piece of beef so I could look like Brian did last week. He is my hero, Jim, and the wind beneath my wings. But I had a beef shoulder roast, which is just a cheap piece of beef. But it was like $5.99 a pound or something. And if you had a Kroger card, it was like $4.99 a pound. So I scanned it in and it didn't give me the discount. So I said to the kid, what's going on? And he said, oh, I'll take care of it. And he went super fast, wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. And I didn't pay attention to what he was doing. I figured he'd done it a million times before. So I got home and there's a place we put our receipts and I threw it in there and noticed he gave me the whole thing for $3.99. And it was a $20 piece of meat. And I don't even know where he got $3.99 from because it was $5.99 marked down to $4.99 per pound. And he gave me the whole thing for $3.99 plus tax. So I got the meat steal of the week, Jim.
That is the meat steal of the week. And we are having our meat beat reporter, Brian Shanker, who's going to be sharing with us on a weekly basis meat deals that you can find at your local grocery stores or national grocery chains that allows you, because, you know, I think Dr. Steve and I talked about this last time we talked. You know, one of the perceptions, and Brian and I've talked about this before, one of the perceptions is it's so expensive to be on a keto carnivore lifestyle. Like they see Brian break out the, what used to be a 3-bone prime rib. They go, man, I just can't afford that. But if they only knew that one meal a day, now he doesn't eat prime rib every day, but every other day. But the reality of, what do you say, Brian?
I said I could.
You could, right? Once
Rock
concerts
stars.
start going back again, he will have it every day. But the reality of it is when you're only eating one meal a day, it's really not that expensive. If you add up, if you're on a normal American standard diet, add up what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then if you follow the advice of others who tell you to snack and graze your way through the day, 5 or 7 small meals, add all that up, and you're going to see that it's a lot more than just having a $3.99 steak at Kroger's or a $20 piece of Kroger. It doesn't matter where you get whether it's hamburger, ribeye, sirloin, New York strip, prime rib. You're only eating eggs are very cheap. So you hear Brian supplement with eggs almost every meal. So eggs, very nutritional for you. They're very cheap. You can get them at Aldi's for always less than $1. Sometimes.
Hold on, Jim. I don't mean to interrupt your monologue, but Pete's phone is making me mental right now. Is everyone else getting feedback?
What's that?
I heard a little.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I was getting a muscle cramp. I put it on speaker for a minute so I could put it down.
All right.
Are you okay?
But God forbid Steve is inconvenienced. No, this is fine.
Thank you, and I appreciate you getting your priorities straight, Pete. I'm sorry, Jim. Please continue. Now that I'm comfortable, I think we can proceed.
Is it safe to proceed forward now?
Yeah, I mean, my back's a little sore and I'm going bald, but otherwise.
All right. Well, anyway, that's pretty much it. The fact that, and the other part is, if you have no hair, you don't have to buy money for shampoo. So Pete and I, we don't have to spend that money on shampoo, right?
No, it saves a lot of time in the morning with the blow dryer.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't have to use electricity for that. Get a chance to. That's it.
I don't use shampoo either. I only wash my hair every 2 weeks, maybe.
Brian does intermittent shampooing once every 2 weeks. Is that true, Brian? Is it really only once? You don't wait that long, do you really?
Once a week.
After I poop, I go shampoo my hair, and that's what I do.
For some reason, usually it's the other way around. After I've already showered, then the poop comes. But speaking of good deals, though, that prime rib I got at Kroger for $5.99 a pound, and it was really chunk.
I felt so bad last Wednesday when Dr. Steve said I didn't buy that prime rib. I went back to that store the next day, and they was sold out.
That's what happens.
So in my brief tenure on this show, I have shamed Brian into buying a plane ticket that he ended up having to return. And I have shamed Jim into going to the store to buy a prime rib that was no longer there.
And you shame me making sure I never leave my hat in the car again either, too. So that's 3 things you've done.
Man.
Pete, how long have you known Dr. Steve?
It's been a while now. It's probably been 7, 8 years.
So what did he do to shame you to come on this show? Because you're way above this.
It was funny. He had asked me a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I haven't lost enough weight yet. Wait until April. And sure enough, I got a text from him on April 1st.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you. You've really, believe it or not, you're inspiring a lot of people right now with your testimony and your journey that you're sharing with people. So thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Steve, for bringing Pete to the table.
Usually it costs me a little more than this, so I'm actually delighted this time.
Pete, we'll make sure one of the first posters with him, we're just wearing that tie, holding his 17-pound brisket. We'll send one out to you, autographed with ketchup.
Perfect.
Oh, Jim, that's not a necktie.
Well, we're still going to send it out to you. You can do with it with what you want.
I'm going to have to come up with some ideas for that.
Yeah, if it's like your son and daughter-in-law, they target practice.
Target practice and then a bonfire.
If they can hit that, they can hit anything.
I'm going to take that in the nicest and semi-dirtiest way possible, Jim. So I do thank you for noticing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey,
I will say that next week is our 1-year anniversary of the show, and we have a special, more specialer than Pete Lynch even, which is hard to imagine given our track record. But if anyone follows the Exploding Unicorn, James Breakwell, on any of the social media platforms, and he has well north of 1 million followers on all of his platforms, he also been engaging in a carnivore lifestyle, and we'll have him come on next week to talk all about it. And I'll also share a picture of where I have his poster hanging in my office.
Ooh. Well, I want to say I do know that guy, and I've watched a couple of his videos. And Brian, you and I are going to get along great with this guy because this guy raises bacon right in his own house. He has pigs walking in his house. So you want bacon? It's right there in your living room.
Oh, nice.
Brian is overwhelmed, Jim.
Underwhelmed.
But thanks for bringing that up, Dr. Steve, because next week is our 1-year anniversary show, which means we've done a show every week for 1 year. And so we've had so many great guests over the last 12 months. We've had so many great moments. We want you to be a part of the 1-year anniversary. So if you will take the time and just videotape yourself, just saying what was your favorite moment, what made you laugh, or where you are in the keto carnivore journey. Like, hey, look, I started doing keto carnivore because I saw you guys' show and I started really listening to what you guys had to say in between the jokes. And I started to follow that lifestyle. And, I've lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Tell us whatever it is. Keep it kind of brief and email it to ketorocks22@gmail. Email it to us. We are going to edit them all into next week's show. So it will air. So whatever you want to say to us, we're going to include it in. So next week's show is going to be a 1-year anniversary spectacular. And we got the unicorn guy coming. So I can't wait to have him on. Hopefully he brings the pig with him, or at least have the pig roaming around while we're doing the show. It'd be awesome. So
ketorocks22@gmail.com. Send your videos and maybe even include who you believe is the best looking co-host.
Well, Pete, and you can throw Pete's name in there if you want to as well.
Pete has performed spectacularly this evening.
Yes, he has. And with that being said, I think it's about anything else you guys want to share? Any food projects you're working on, Dr. Steve or Brian, or anything you want? What's your favorite meal, Pete? We didn't even ask you what your favorite meal was. What? Put that bite back down.
It's
we were walking out of here.
I'm a steak man.
All right. What's your favorite? You New York strip, porterhouse, ribeye?
New York strip.
New York strip. Yep. Brian, you working on anything besides you just got through doing the emu egg? Any other projects in the works?
Nothing crazy. I mean, I'm gonna cook that prime rib thing tomorrow.
Tongue.
And see how far I can get through it.
I think Dr. Steve is asking, when can we expect the tongue project to come to light?
You know what? I don't know. I just keep putting that off. I'll get to it.
Vegas odds right now has it as even whether the tongue gets cooked first or the book gets done first. So right now it's a battle.
I'm rooting for the tongue.
I'm rooting for the book, Brian, just so you know. The tongue can stay in the freezer. Matter of fact, if you just want to bring the tongue to the Keto Rocks Retreat frozen, and we'll put it in the fruit bowl dish just to cool everything down.
Nice.
All right. Dr. Steve, you working on anything besides that last piece of steak?
No, wife is away this week, and so I'm eating leftovers and cheese slices and pork rinds. It's not a fun existence, Jim.
But the Mrs. Steve's having a great time.
I hope so. She's without me.
All right, Brian, you want to share what's on your heart to everybody who may not have seen us before? What bit of advice you would give them?
Yes. I would say eat your meat. It is the proper human diet.
Look at that. Look at him representing. Absolutely. And Pete, thanks so much for you taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us this evening. It's been an honor. It's been fun. And it's been tutorial at the beginning of it. So we all learned a little bit about Zoom. And so it's all been good.
Thanks for bearing with me, guys.
No, it was awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody else, you guys stay well, stay safe. We'll see you next Friday for our 1-year anniversary show. And stay out of the hospital. See you then.
It's just another day. Time is just a tick away. Don't you go and throw it away.
I got to record this. Hold on a second.
Okay.
That's perfect. I got to record that. That's perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and get recording so we can make it before midnight. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. And then, Steve, you're going to come on after I introduce Brian?
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
Are we out?